Hi everyone. I am elated to be here at Stanford, surrounded by the intelligent minds like Larry and many faculty members of this Stanford, Professor Eric and all. I'm very happy. I'm surrounded by the innovative minds like Bright, like Sarah, Lillian, and all other colleagues who all are like here in fact with me. Today I'm going to tell you the story of the transformation of the social capital in fact. I come from a country where more than 2,500 rivers are flowing unconditionally. I come from a country where 145 CR people are living together, struggling, fighting, evolving together as a democracy. I come from a country where more than 22 languages are the official language and more than 600 languages are on the record. I come from a country which captures the digital landscape of more than 46% of the world in fact. Interestingly, the top 4 countries, they are not in the position to meet or champion with the India collectively even in the digital transactions. Interestingly, I come from a country which is the country of Gandhi. We always believe in the theory of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in Sanskrit. It means we always do advocacy for the global citizenship. We always believe the entire world, the whole world is a family. And I represent the state of Jharkhand, which is in terms of size, I'll tell you any wild guess, somebody can say in terms of population where we stand, Jharkhand state. Any wild guess from this place? So, Maria, you want to guess? Maria is a hint for the state also in fact. So, Ukraine in terms of population, you can compare Ukraine with Jharkhand in fact from where I come from. In terms of area, you can compare with Czech and many other countries in fact. So, it's a huge country, it's a huge state basically for you, but it's a small state for my country. So, in terms of tribal population, it's a tribal state full of mines and minerals, full of forest areas, and the coverage of the forest of my state is more than 29%, and it will include the standing trees. It will come like roughly it's around 33%, which is 1/3 of the entire state, the forest coverage. And I live in a state which is full of flora and fauna, mountains, the terrain is very difficult, and there was a challenge of the left-wing extremism in fact. I'll tell you one story of 2014. I was the deputy commissioner. For the sake of understanding, for the sake of clarity, I'll tell you that deputy commissioners are the district collectors. It's the old British legacy basically, and which we are carrying on a very positive note in my country, and the civil servants are considered as a backbone basically, and the district is the administrative unit which is led by the deputy commissioner or the district collector or the district magistrate. I was the deputy commissioner in Latihar. As per the Ministry of Home Affairs of Government of India in fact, it was the most difficult district to conduct any elections free, fair and violence free elections. We cannot imagine any election without violence in Latihar in fact. So, I was the deputy commissioner. I started consulting the PRI members, the people's representative from the villages in fact. We did the deep diving, we started the campaign, door-to-door campaign in fact. I used that time WhatsApp was not very popular in fact in 2014 in my country. So, we started bulk messaging and bulk calling to everyone. And we gathered more than 4 lakh people for a pledge signing drive in a single point of time, and that was the number was the 4 lakh. In fact, we started at 10:30, we concluded at 11 a.m. in the morning in fact, and 4 lakh people collectively they signed that pledge paper, and we receive all those papers for the sake of proof too. So we cannot say, so Election Commission of India cannot say that we were not doing anything concrete in our district basically. Then we started so many campaign like the Vote for Democracy, Vote for Latihar. Latihar is the name of the place basically, which was badly affected by the Maoist-affected ideology in fact, and there was lots of violences in the past in elections, 2005 general elections and assembly elections, 2009 general elections and assembly elections. And believe me, when we conducted the election, the voting percentage, the voters turnout was amazing, because we relocated the booths. Deputy commissioners were competent to relocate the booths and everything in fact. And the election commission, it was a big relief for the ECI when we conducted free fair election, the flawless election, and the election without the single incidence of violence. So that was the kind of the contribution from an administrator and his team, how we work in India. I'll tell you the second story of the Hazaribagh. I was the deputy commissioner of Hazaribagh, where we started one drive, Paint My City in fact. They were full of dirty walls in fact, there was no cleanliness drive and all. In 2016 I was there as a district collector, and I was very upset with after seeing the dirty walls, how we can get it clean. I called my OSD, my PA, and I asked how we can do this. Then he said, sir, it will take like lots of money in fact, it will attract huge monetary budgetary pressure on the district administration, and we cannot seek this much of fund from the state. So I said, let's make a people's drive. In fact, I contributed, like, roughly in terms of dollar, you can say it, $200. I took it from my wallet, in fact, and give it to my PA, the OSD, in fact, on a special duty officer who works with me in my confidential section, and I said, let's start one drive. And I posted, I make a very emotional appeal on the Facebook. Let's paint my city. It's your city, it's my city. Being the legal custodian, it's my city and it's your city. Let's come, contribute and color. Contribution does not mean the monetary contribution. Contribution means you can come and paint if you are a painter. You can come, and if you cannot paint, if you are not a painter, you can come and you can clean the walls. If you don't want to clean the walls even, it's okay. You come, and please don't make it like more dirtier than ever. In fact, when you are observing it, at least this much of expectation we were expecting from everyone. Contribution means you don't make it bad, at least if you cannot make it very good. In fact, this is the drive. This is how we started this drive, and we attracted more people in this drive. And Prime Minister Modi ji, he quoted in his Mann Ki Baat, the biggest radio program started by our Prime Minister. He celebrated this occasion, this drive, appreciated this drive, in fact. And believe me, it was not the drive of the cleanliness, it was the drive to restore the life of the local artisans who were promoting the traditional art form called Sohra and Kohar. These are the traditional art forms which we protected through this drive, in fact. So being an administrator, there are lots of duties which we are supposed to do, in fact. So decision making is very important. Believe in the people's participation, it's equally very important. And when you talk about democracy, believe me, these institutions are very important. When Bismarck said, so with the bad laws and the good civil servant, it can work and you can govern, but with the good laws and the bad civil servants, you cannot perform. So I believe in that theory, we need good laws and good officers also. I was the Secretary Labour before joining this planning department, and the last thing which I pitched in as a Secretary Labour in the consultation with the ILO and ITC Turin, we started working on the gig workers and the digital platform workers, and we introduced one act basically which is passed through the cabinet, and I think Jharkhand is going to become the first state. If this upcoming legislative assembly session is going to pass it, we will become the first state in the country who is having a security code and labor laws for the digital platform workers and the gig workers. So I always believe in the Gandhian philosophy, you in a very gentle way you can shake the world. So be the change agent, be the change of champions, be the change, and govern with utmost courtesy, govern for all. Be empathetic rather than getting sympathetic. Basically, we need empathy more in the governance. Basically, we need to work on the emotional quotient also while we are dealing with a huge population like in my country. So govern with the passion, believe in the people's democracy. It's a participatory democracy, and everybody will stand for this change. Definitely will make my country more colorful than my tie, more diverse than my pocket square, believe me. So I'll request everyone, please stand up and place with me. In fact, can you please stand up, everyone? So whatever I'll say, you repeat. I've already said this. Be the part of the change.
Be the part of the change.
Be the change.
Be the change.
Be the champions of the change.
Be the champions of the change.
Thank you.